ABC 36 News starts now.
Good afternoon, Kentucky. I'm Lisa High, filling in for Jane Davenport. Thank you so much for joining us today. In our top story at 3, we are hearing from former University of Kentucky athletes who say that they were sexually abused by former women's swim coach Lars Jorgensen. The athletes and their lawyers held a virtual press conference, which wrapped up about an hour ago. ABC 36's Jane Davenport has the details.
Former University of Kentucky swim team member Briggs Alexander claims he was groomed and abused by Lars Jorgensen, a coach for the University of Kentucky women's swim team. Briggs now identifies as he, him, but identified as a woman at the time of the abuse.
If I said anything, no one was going to believe me. My career was going to be over. I had no future. Like he was in a position where if I didn't have him, I had nothing.
Briggs and 2 other anonymous former UK swim team members are suing the university and speaking out about the abuse they say was ignored even after being reported.
I disclosed my abuse and thought that it was being taken care of. And, months went by and I never heard anything back. And so I reached out and I was just repeatedly discouraged and vigorously discouraged to not come forward and to not, publish this.
Lawyers for the former athletes from a Michigan-based law firm say though the allegations were reported to the school, they were not reported to law enforcement. Alexander says he was afraid to speak out when he was in college.
There was this sense of fear and, people that wouldn't believe me. Repeatedly, I was told from Lars that he was this just amazing human with so many connections in Lexington, and he had people in his corner.
The University of Kentucky has been made aware of these allegations through a lawsuit. The lawyers for the victims are encouraging others to come forward so they can build the case against Jorgensen and University of Kentucky.
We hope that in bringing these suits, that these institutions will look within and will make the appropriate and necessary changes so that predators are not within their ranks.
In Lexington, Jane Davenport, ABC 36 News Now.
Now, that meeting actually ended a few hours ago. We reached out to the University of Kentucky for a statement. They sent out a release stating, quote, "We are distressed to hear the disturbing allegations of sexual assault and criminal behavior by a former University of Kentucky employee. No one should be subject to this kind of abuse described in the civil lawsuit filed Friday. Once we learned of details of the allegations contained in the initial news article, we contacted law enforcement. We will cooperate fully. Our top priority is the health and safety of our students and employees. We have no tolerance for harm, harassment, or abuse. To our employees, students, and the entire University of Kentucky family, we want to be absolutely clear. We do not tolerate these types of behaviors. We will do everything possible to ensure the safety and well-being of our students, faculty, and staff," end quote. All right, well, now we are checking in with Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck. T.G., it started off very rainy today, but now it has cleared up. It's beautiful out.
Yeah, it's turned out to be another dandy afternoon, Lisa. We've had the 3rd day in a row that's feeling almost more summer-like than anything else. And notice here on our Viper radar, we are clear. Storms, potentially, it's conditional, maybe popping up out here into eastern Kentucky, but I really think for the most part we are going to be in good shape. Had a little bit of clearing, as mentioned. Clouds hanging tough across the southern and southeast counties, but with some of that clearing, that has allowed temperatures to climb nicely during the course of the afternoon here. Those earlier showers going by the wayside, the more favored area for organized severe weather here into central and northern Ohio. Tornado watch box there, severe thunderstorm watch up into Michigan. That's closer to that area of low pressure. We're far enough to the south where we should see minimal problems. In fact, they've taken basically all of central and eastern Kentucky out of the severe threat tonight, which again is great news. I think we're going to see very little in the way of activity. Checking out downtown Somerset, you see the trees blowing. It has been a windy day. Those winds have been 15, 20, 25 miles per hour with gusts over 30 with a mix of clouds and sunshine. 75 there. We're 77 here in Lexington as well as in Moorhead. Right at 80 in Bardstown to Lebanon. And I mentioned the wind gusts, and they're over 30, 35 miles per hour. I think those will back down a bit. Of course, once the sun sets, farther west you go, you see the low 80s, and we're going to squeeze one more good day in tomorrow. Dew points up a little bit, but that boundary is going to move through, and we're going to be in between systems tomorrow. That's going to allow for a dry day, but then tomorrow evening and during the overnight, another round of storms possible. But here in the short term, should drop down into the mid to upper 50s. And again, one more summer-like day to come before we do cool it down in time for the upcoming weekend. More on that in your 7-day here in just a few.
All right, thank you, TG. Well, Lexington police were called to the Man O' War and alumni area early this morning around 1 a.m. in response to a shots fired call. Police say they found a home, a vehicle, and a mailbox hit from gunfire. Officers collected the gun shell cases around that area. No injuries were reported. Police are currently investigating to find out the origin of the shots fired. Anyone with information about this incident can leave an anonymous tip with Lexington Police or through Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. Well, graduate students of UK rallied today to demand $25,000 minimum stipends for all graduate student workers. They say they also want to put an end to fees for international students by 2025. This action comes after months of organizing, including a petition that has so far garnered over 300 signatures.
Every department pays their grads differently, which we think is unfair because it values some people's work more than others. And some grads are making as little as $14,000 a year, which when the cost of living in Lexington is almost $40,000 per year.
Now, the students gathered in front of Whitehall building at around 12 this afternoon. The rally lasted until 2 p.m. Well, a bill aimed at changing how the horse racing industry works passed earlier this week by lawmakers. The Horse Racing Commission will regulate different aspects as an independent body. They say the purpose is to emphasize accountability. ABC 36's Anna Medina spoke with the sponsor of that bill on what the new independent body will regulate.
It's a game changer. Senate Bill 299 will combine all three legal areas of gaming in Kentucky under one Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation, very similar to the model used by the Kentucky Lottery Corporation.
A bill that changes the future of horse racing in the Bluegrass.
It will have parimutuel betting, sports betting, and charitable gaming all under one board and one management. And it will provide for more autonomy and independence from the whims of politics for these very important industries.
The independent agency will be called the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation.
As we keep giving the Racing Commission more and more responsibility, and it has to hire more and more employees with more and more money flowing in and out of there, I just thought it needed to have more independence and not subject to the whims of politics.
Senator Thayer says the board members have to be confirmed by the state Senate and then be subjected to the Executive Branch Ethics Commission. The inspiration is to be the best.
There's going to be a higher level of integrity and scrutiny coming to our horse racing industry. We are the industry leader. We are the horse capital of the world. We have the best year-round racing circuit in North America. We have the best horse breeding operations and industry in North America. And now there's going to be a higher level of integrity to protect that, to make sure that we retain our position as horse capital of the world. Horse racing and gaming, sports betting, charitable.
Senate Bill 299 will also dissolve the State Department of Charitable Gaming next year. Thayer adding that for now, he's just excited to be at the 150th Kentucky Derby in Frankfort. Anna Medina, ABC 36 News Now.
Well, now to the latest on the historic hush money payment trial of Donald Trump. 7 out of 12 jurors have been seated and will help decide his fate in this criminal case. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
7 New Yorkers have now been chosen to decide if former President Donald Trump is guilty of criminal charges in his hush money payment trial. They're the first of 12 jurors and 6 alternates seated after being questioned by both the prosecution and defense. So far, there are 3 women and 4 men. The foreman is originally from Ireland, and there's an oncology nurse who said no one is above the law. And when asked her opinion of Trump, responded, "I don't really have one." A teacher who has 2 family members in law enforcement said President Trump speaks his mind, and I'd rather that than someone who's in office who you don't know what they're thinking. There are 2 attorneys from big law firms and a grandfather originally from Puerto Rico who called Trump fascinating and mysterious, saying he walks into a room and he sets people off one way or another. A young software engineer pledged, "I will be fair and impartial." But many other potential jurors have been excused after saying they'd be unable to do that. The judge also dismissing one man who posted online when Trump was president, saying, "Get him out and lock him up." Trump is facing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to cover up a payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels to keep an alleged affair secret from voters before the 2016 election. Trump denies he ever had a relationship with Daniels and has pleaded not guilty to the charges. At a campaign stop after court Tuesday, Trump was asked whether he thinks the jurors who were chosen so far will be fair.
I'll let you know after the trial.
Tomorrow, a new batch of 96 potential jurors will begin answering questions. With jury selection moving along so fast, opening statements in this trial could begin as early as Monday. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, now to our ABC 36 poll question of the day. If Trump is found guilty on any count, we want to know if you think it will hurt his chances of being reelected. And you can vote right now at WTVQ.com/vote, or you can scan the QR code that is on your screen. We definitely want to hear from you on this. Well, still ahead, we've got your entertainment and consumer news. Find out how you can avoid getting scammed for your wedding day. Keep it here.
Well, definitely a breezy day out there across central and eastern Kentucky. Mix of clouds and sunshine, temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. So pretty nice afternoon. We'll squeeze one more in as far as summer-like days tomorrow before some changes arrive. Of course, just in time for the weekend. Your Storm Team forecast is on the way.
Time for ABC 36 Storm Team Forecast.
Welcome back, friends. Well, I'll tell you what, TG. I went out of the building briefly for a few minutes, and it was so beautiful. It's the perfect temperature. I know it was a little breezy.
It is,
but
yeah.
It was gorgeous out.
I mean, we've had a really good stretch of it here. Even with some of the rain that you mentioned this morning, we've recovered nicely. We've got a little mix of clouds and sunshine, and that has helped to push our temperatures well into the 70s in most locations. Kind of a cool shot here, southeastern Kentucky, a little halo around the sun. You see that around the moon sometimes, and same principle, those high thin cirrus clouds made up of ice crystals, you get that halo around it, and we've had plenty of those out there in addition to some mid to high level clouds. Viper radar, nothing going on around here. Some of those clouds still hanging tough into southeastern Kentucky, more of a mix of clouds and sunshine here. You get up to the north, and that's where there's more of an issue as far as organized storms, tornado watch through parts of central and northern Ohio with a severe thunderstorm watch farther to the north. That's right on the nose of that area of low pressure that's spinning through. We'll get a cold front working through tonight. One bit of good news, at least here in central and eastern Kentucky, we're out of the severe weather risk, kind of hugs the river, the level 2, right in that area that's under the watches right now across the Buckeye State. Mixed clouds and sunshine here in Lexington, nice 77. Check out that wind, sustained at 20 to 25 with gusts at times 35 plus. And that's kind of helping to drive the train combined with the wind. I mentioned the mid-level overcast hanging tough into eastern Kentucky, Knott County there with the Kentucky Mesonet site, 71. It is breezy, but again, those clouds holding temperatures in check just a bit, but looking good. We'll take it. Above average everywhere, not as warm as what we've seen the last couple of days, but top of the hour gusts 36 here in Lexington, 33 in Moorhead, 36 up in Williamstown. Farther west you go, more in the way of sunshine, and temperatures there looking pretty good. Dew points up a bit. That moisture trying to pool a bit just ahead of that frontal boundary, which will sweep on through. But I think we're going to be in pretty good shape here. Notice how it is off to our northwest as it comes through tonight, especially eastern Kentucky. There's a little bit of warmer air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and that may cap or suppress the development. That low across the Central Plains, that's a system that will catch us late tomorrow evening and heading into early Friday. Tomorrow morning, mid to upper 50s, much of the day looking good. How about those highs working back into the low 80s? So enjoy that. And then we'll keep an eye on things as kind of a cluster or complex of thunderstorms rolls in here late tomorrow evening and in the early hours of Friday. And then we'll kind of wind those showers down through the morning. Just to show you how we're expecting things to weaken, here's the forecast lightning with this. And notice how, it's pretty frequent. Once it hits the I-65 corridor, less and less, and then eventually weakening out. So that is a good trend. And kind of following suit to that, it looks like the more favored area for severe weather is going to be in the Missouri River Valley and far western Kentucky. That is the bullseye tomorrow. And then notice how it ramps down to a level 1 here in central and southern Kentucky. Farther east, not in the risk area. So that's something to keep in mind. Of course, that's a positive. Now, as that rain comes rolling through here, we can pick up some decent totals here, maybe a ½ inch or so, a little more than that in isolated spots. Looking ahead as we roll through Friday and the upcoming weekend, bigger picture here, we'll see the rain come to an end. Really, the big story into the weekend will be cooler air compared to what we have had of late. We're only talking afternoon highs, probably upper 50s and low 60s this weekend, but the key is it will be dry. So mainly dry tomorrow. How about 82 for the afternoon high? A little cooler, but ironically right on par for average on Friday. We stay high and dry through the weekend, and as we kick off early next week as well, could see a few isolated to scattered storms this time next week with highs still in the low to mid 60s.
Welcome back. Well, in today's Consumer Watch, wedding planners, they can be extremely helpful for making your special day go seamless, but you don't want to be fooled by scammers. Jen Sullivan shares some of the do's and don'ts to stop the scammer from upending the big day.
Scammed on her special day.
I always think back to what my day could have been.
Anna Ochoa reliving her wedding day when her dream Beverly Hills wedding went from planned perfection to chaos.
It's one of the most special days in anyone's lives. And to be robbed of that, she didn't take that just from me. She took that from our parents, our siblings, our whole family.
She being her wedding planner. Anna paid her over $13,000 in 2016 to secure the venue, flowers, and food. A deal, Anna thought, because the planner claimed she'd waive the taxes if she was paid in cash.
A month before the wedding, everything was already paid off.
Paid for, but not put on. Instead, the morning of Anna's wedding, she received texts that the reception wasn't happening.
Do you still want to get married, or do we start calling everyone because we have 300 guests?
Anna's uncle hosted her reception in his backyard, a last-minute resort that Lauren Kay from the wedding planning site The Knot says would be unacceptable.
We have removed people from our vendor marketplace.
To avoid scams, Lauren says to only use reputable websites, read reviews, also word of mouth, and before making any decisions, go beyond the screens. One non-negotiable before you sign on the dotted line?
Every reputable vendor will have a contract. Make sure you read through it.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Now in entertainment news, a new horror flick puts a dark spin on the late-night television genre. Rick Damigella reports.
Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Darrow. Oh, good evening, Night Owls.
Things go very wrong during a taping of a late-night talk show in Late Night with the Devil.
I'm trying to host a nationally syndicated talk show, and I'm trying to help you keep it on the air.
You know what possessed me to do this film was the brothers, Colin and Cameron Cairns, sent a incredible lookbook that looked like an old 1970s TV guide. That was all about Jack Delroy and late night TV and possession and the supernatural and all that vibe of that like era, the satanic panic.
Please welcome Dr. June Ross Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
For us, it was a story about, this desperate talk show host who's got one last shot at, maintaining his career and being number one and all of that. So for us, it was just, what's the best way to tell this story? Well, if it's about that episode, then let's just shoot it as an episode of TV.
You're about to see. You okay, Jack? It's profoundly disturbing and shocking.
Personally, I want audiences to know that this role changed the way I look at acting and the way I will always look at acting. It had that much of an effect on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
Watching with the lights on in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
I'll keep my lights on too. And in your Hollywood Minute, a look at a big screen movie, a streaming documentary, and music from preschoolers' favorite pig. David Daniel reports.
What's his name?
I'd rather not say.
You're afraid to say his name because the guy's married, or you're married, or someone's married.
He's married.
I know he's married. Don't drive a cab 20 years and not know people.
Dakota Johnson and Sean Penn get to know each other during a memorable cab ride in the official trailer for Daddy-O. The drama, written and directed by Christy Hall, opens in theaters June 28th.
From the densest forests to the deepest oceans to the hottest deserts, everything is connected through the vast web of life.
And Our Living World shows us how. The docuseries looks at the network of connections linking all life on Earth. Our Living World, narrated by Cate Blanchett, debuts today on Netflix. It's Peppa Pig's first ever cover song. The Queen of Preschool's version of Katy Perry's Roar is now available on digital streaming platforms. If you can't find it, your kids will help you. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And now I'm going to have that song stuck in my head all day. Well, stay with us. We've got the YMCA here today to talk about some pickleball. Stay tuned.
You're watching ABC 36 News Now. Good afternoon, Kentucky, with Jane Davenport and Chief Meteorologist T.G. Schuck.
Welcome back, friends. Well, the North Lexington Family YMCA in Lexington is hosting an outdoor pickleball open house for the community on April 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And here to tell us all about the event is Shauna Harrison, Director of Pickleball Operations.
Yes.
Wow. Welcome to the show, Shauna.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I'm telling you, you look just absolutely gorgeous in your outfit. And it's a pickleball outfit. Is this right? Tennis pickleball?
It's a pickleball outfit. Of course, I do have my master's hat on, but it was from a pickleball friend. So.
Wow, you are all in. You're
yes.
Okay. So for those of us that don't exactly know what pickleball is, can you explain the sport?
Well, pickleball is kind of a combination of table tennis and real tennis.
Okay.
It's played on a court that's the size of a badminton court, and you play with these paddles and this ball. It's similar to a wiffle ball. It's a little smaller and a little heavier.
Yeah, it is actually. And you know, does the YMCA have new courts for pickleball as well right now?
Oh my goodness, do we have new courts?
Because that's what the word out on the street is right now.
Yes, we are poised to become Central Kentucky's haven for pickleball.
Nice.
We've got 10 beautiful new outdoor courts at the north. It's called the Outdoor Pickleball Center.
Nice.
And it's pickleball paradise.
I love it, pickleball paradise. Okay, and I mean, it's such a popular sport right now. Why do you think it took off so rapidly the way it did?
Well, it's, for one, many different age groups can play.
Yeah.
We've got 10-year-olds playing, up to 83-year-olds playing, and they play together. It's a wonderful sport for all different ages, And it's not a lot of running like tennis.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the court size.
Yeah, so it's a little easier on the knees and all that?
Well, it just depends on how you play now.
Oh, yeah, because you can get aggressive. I mean, I've seen people diving at pickleball and going for balls and things like that. And I thought, wait a second, I thought this was supposed to be easier than tennis.
Listen, I always tell them no ball is worth the fall, okay? I mean, if they're diving, they're doing a little bit too much.
I agree wholeheartedly. Okay, so also, you guys have an open house this weekend. So let's talk about that, too.
Yes. We're having an open house to kind of invite the community to see our new beautiful courts and just to let them know the Y is the destination for pickleball for Central Kentucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And, you know, the YMCA has been so great. My husband and I and our family have been members for years, and we love it because there's so many different things to do with the family, and especially as you're going through this journey of life. When your kids are younger, there's a lot of things to do with the kids, and then the Y is there to support that. And as we get older and as the kids get older, there's sports that are available to them and things to do at the gym that support them as well. So it's fantastic. It really is.
Yes. Pickleball is such an inclusive community. Those people that come to the Y see all different ethnicities playing on the court, all different age groups playing together every day. So the wonderful thing about pickleball and the Y is like we're just like a big family.
Yes, you really are.
Yes.
And I'm anticipating, I'm sure you are too, that the community is really going to come out for this event too.
Yes, we really want to invite everyone to come and see the new courts and play a little pickleball. We're going to have introduction to pickleball. We're going to have little competitions, dinking competitions.
Yeah.
And we just want everyone to come out just to see the courts and to meet other people in the community and to play a little pickleball.
Awesome. I love it. And you know what? I've never played pickleball. I want to, and I want to see these new courts too. So where do people go for more information about it?
They can go to our website, www.ymcacky.org/pickleball.
All right.
For all pickleball activities, or they can just look us up on Facebook or Instagram. We have everything posted there.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Shauna, thank you so much for coming in today. I can't wait to see the new courts. Thank you again for being here.
I'll see you on the courts.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. And we'll be back right after this. Keep it here.
ABC 36 News starts now.
Good afternoon, Kentucky. I am Lisa High, filling in for Jane Davenport. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're going to start off first by checking in with Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck on this beautiful weather we're having right now. I mean, it's gorgeous out.
Yeah, it's been a really nice stretch, especially as far as those temperatures are concerned. This morning, we had a few showers, some rumbles of thunder here and there, but Viper radar quiet right now. The frontal boundary is still back to our west. That has yet to move through. Some lingering mid-level clouds in the south and east, mix of clouds and sunshine here in the bluegrass. Got a little warmer air in the mid-levels, which hopefully will help suppress some of the storm development as we go through the evening hours. Not the case closer to that low. Two parts of central and northern Ohio. Tornado watch and some ongoing severe weather there, closing in between Columbus and Cleveland, and farther north up into lower Michigan. They've got severe thunderstorm watch. And notice here how central and eastern Kentucky has been taken out of the organized severe threat, the level 2 well to our north. So we should be in pretty good shape as we go through the evening hours. You see some of that cloudiness down over Lake Cumberland, but it is dry. And then farther to the north, more of a mix of clouds and sunshine. Kentucky mesonet cam there in Owen County near Owenton, 76. Winds have been a big story today. Sustained 15, 20, 25 at times, and we're at 79 Lexington. So with some of that bonus sunshine, we're making a run at the 80-degree mark again. Bardstown down to Lebanon right at 80, and you see the wind gusts 30, 35 at times. I think those will drop back a bit as we go into the evening hours out west into the low 80s on the nose of that front. This evening should be dry for the most part. Can't rule out maybe an isolated storm, especially in the east. But during the overnight, just a few scattered clouds heading into the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, another nice looking day. But we've got that next system, which could be potentially bring a few strong storms as that area expected to move in here later tomorrow evening. More on that in your 7-day coming up.
We're feeling spoiled around here. Thank you, TG. Well, a former EKU professor now knows how long he will be behind bars. The U.S. Attorney's Office says 36-year-old Kyle Nezovich from Richmond was sentenced to more than 18 years in prison after being convicted on child pornography charges. He was arrested last year after an EKU student found a hidden camera in a men's bathroom on campus. Police say he was a professor at the school at the time. Investigators say Nezovich has been placing cameras in bathrooms and locker rooms to record videos from 2009 through 2023. Court records show Nezovich admitted to recording the videos as part of his plea agreement. Well, in Clark County, funeral plans have been announced for a Winchester police sergeant and former chief who died Sunday from a health issue after arresting a suspect over the weekend. Funeral services for Sergeant William Marty Jackson will be held in the gymnasium at George Rogers Clark High School on Saturday, April 20th. A public visitation will begin at 9 a.m. The funeral service starts at noon, followed by a procession to Winchester Cemetery. Now, according to the Officer Down Memorial page, Sergeant Jackson died Sunday from a heart attack in his police cruiser after arresting a suspect for being disruptive at Clark Regional Medical Center. Police say Sergeant Jackson was 73 years old and he had served in law enforcement for 50 years. Well, in today's Your Health, last week, the first national standard was set to limit so-called forever chemicals found in nearly half of all U.S. drinking water. Today, Mandy Gaither reveals the dangers behind these chemicals and how you can lessen your exposure to them.
They can be found in some makeup, sunscreen, even pizza boxes, a large family of potentially dangerous synthetic chemicals.
Perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl are substances that are known as forever chemicals.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says they're also called PFAS chemicals that can be found in consumer products that are made to be waterproof, non-stick, and stain resistant.
These chemicals have been developed at this breakneck pace. And again, they're called forever chemicals because they don't break down completely.
Gupta says that means what makes them durable also makes them hard to get rid of. They linger in the environment and the human body. The CDC says nearly 97% of all Americans have these chemicals in their blood. They're linked to a variety of health problems, including cancer, kidney and liver damage, and other serious health problems in people with prolonged exposure. But you can lessen your exposure.
You can avoid stain and water-resistant products and sprays. If you order delivery or takeout from restaurants, remove your food from takeout containers before reheating. When cooking at home, steer clear of non-stick cookware and filter your drinking water with activated carbon or reverse osmosis if possible.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, don't go yet. More Good Afternoon Kentucky is coming up after the break.
Another unseasonably warm day and plenty of wind. You can see the camera shaking, but that's really helping to boost our temperatures into the 70s and upper 70s at that. Still looking good tomorrow, but some changes as we head toward the weekend. Your 7-day forecast is coming up.
Time for ABC 36 Storm Team Forecast.
Well, we've had a good week of weather as far as summer-like temperatures, and even with some scattered clouds around and some morning rain, no exception on this Wednesday. One more summer-like day on tap for tomorrow. Now, we got some changes. Even though the overall severe threat looks to be concentrated a little farther west, at least the best dynamics, a few strong storms are going to be possible later tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. Dry for the weekend with slightly below average temperatures for late April, but nothing we can't handle for this time of the year. Viper radar is clear. We've got some lingering mid-level clouds across southern southeast Kentucky, kind of a mix of clouds and sunshine filling that in. That frontal boundary is just to our west. That's going to be moving eastward. One thing that should work to our advantage and hopefully will, some warmer air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere kind of capping or suppressing the development as the front moves in. Not the case north, where you see the tornado watch box and and a pretty good line of thunderstorms moving just north of the I-70 corridor. That's right on the nose of that area of low pressure that is moving through the Great Lakes. And for that reason, notice how central and eastern Kentucky this evening out of the organized severe threat. It is off to our north where they are under a level 2 there. As far as looking at downtown Lexington, you see the camera shaking because we've got a lot of wind out there. Our Hicks and Funson cam all the way up to 79. Look at the sustained wind, 20 to 25 with gusts over 30 at times. So it is definitely feeling warmer. Now with more clouds to the south, only low 70s, but where the sun has returned, we've recovered nicely and we still have a little ways to go, so we may tack another few degrees on to afternoon highs. Those gusts 30 plus, especially here in the bluegrass northward and right on the nose of that front where they've had more sun out west, sneaking into the low to mid 80s. All right, there's your frontal boundary. First one, area of low pressure across far southwestern Nebraska. That's the next system that's going to roll in here tomorrow night and depart by Friday morning. We'll be in between it tomorrow. Notice Futurecast this evening not showing anything. Quiet overnight. We drop down into the mid 50s, and then much of tomorrow, in fact, should be another dandy afternoon with sunshine and highs into the low 80s. But watch tomorrow evening. Probably a complex of thunderstorms, I think, arriving in a weakened state, but nevertheless, the potential for some stronger storms still on the table. And then by Friday morning, we're just looking at some general showers left over. Look at the forecast lightning, and this shows you kind of the weakening process, at least for the forecast. A lot of lightning, and then as it gets toward the I-74 or 75 corridor, that is, you see much less. And that's a general indication that we'll be in a better spot with the timing, of course, with it coming a little bit later on in the evening here. The bullseye, level 3, Evansville and westward, including Paducah, and then you see how it really trims down. So damaging winds, large hail threat as it holds together. And then looking at a very, again, low-end tornado threat here. We can pick up some healthy rainfall totals as this stuff sweeps on through, especially where we catch those heavier downpours, maybe even 3/4 of an inch up to an inch. Once that system's out of here, we are going to dry it out nicely for the upcoming weekend. Maybe a few scattered clouds around with the system to our south. Only upper 50s and low 60s, some chilly mornings, and then we're back into the mid-60s early next week.
Welcome back to Good Afternoon Kentucky on ABC 36 News Now.
Welcome back, friends. Well, let's get to those talkers. Okay, so here's one thing you probably wouldn't expect to find walking around the street.
Yeah, Jeremy Roth talks about an elephant's little adventure, and today's Take a Look at This.
We've got a cavalcade of crazy caught-on-cam whatnot today, starting with this big Butte's big day out in Butte, Montana, that is. That was the scene of this circus elephant getting loose and taking a surreal stroll through town. The city's Civic Center said it was preparing to host the animal named Viola as part of a circus event when she got spooked by a truck backfire and took off. Viola didn't get too far and was flanked by a handler the entire time, and they were able to safely corral and return her, but not before she reportedly made her mark on some lucky homeowner's lawn. Another trunk of the tree variety made headlines in Virginia when a surveillance camera captured a pair of dads' relaxing backyard chill interrupted by a massive falling tree. The pair were preparing to roast s'mores with their kids when they heard some loud crackling noises and were able to scream clear just as the serene scene became anything but. Thankfully, everyone is okay, minus the tree, but these two dads are still marveling at their timely stroke of luck.
So many things went right, and things could have gone so wrong.
Finally, take a look at a brash biker who's lucky he didn't have a big fall when he was caught on camera doing over 100 miles per hour whilst standing up on his motorcycle. It may be an impressive stunt, but police officers were not impressed at all. Instead, they pulled him over and placed him under arrest for reckless driving. Look, I'm sure he's a stand-up guy, but he needs to stay seated when he's on the road. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Wow, yeah. I would be lucky to be able to stay on the motorcycle and drive 100 miles per hour.
Well, you could see in the beginning of the video, I'm like, that guy is standing up. And then the other thing is maybe we'll see that elephant on Yellowstone when they put out the new season.
Maybe, hopefully. I love how Viola, is that her name? Viola? She made a run for the casino.
Yeah, I was like, let's hit a little stop at the casino here. Lucky jackpot. Well, that's how we've been with our weather of late.
Yes, we have.
And we're going to do it all again tomorrow. Those storms not arriving until probably late evening tomorrow. So that's going to push our highs back into the low 80s. We're getting awfully close to that here in the Bluegrass westward with some of the bonus sunshine this afternoon out ahead of that front. A little dose of reality for the upcoming weekend. At least it will be dry, upper 50s and low 60s, and it'll feel a little bit more like late April heading into early.
Yeah, April showers, that's what we have.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. News at 5 will be up at 5 o'clock. See you then.